Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, everybody? What's going on, y'all? This is your boy Vago. Welcome to Let's Talk Real Talk.
What's up?
And we got your girl Miranda here today with us. Miranda, what's going on with you?
What's going on, man? It's Monday, and you know what time it is.
It's Monday. So let me ask you a quick question before we get started here. What'd you do yesterday for Halloween? What'd you do for Halloween? You celebrate
Man,
Halloween?
come on now. You know it's Sunday. What? You know what's on Sunday? I must take a nap. The only candy I ate was peanut M&Ms. It was no trick or treating over here.
You silly, man. Listen, my Ring doorbell was going off like crazy yesterday because we typically in Lightborn House, we really don't do Halloween. We're not big on Halloween. So I forgot to turn off the light. And, you got to turn off the light and, people kind of, I forgot to turn off the light, and all of a sudden I hear doorbell start ringing, and I felt so bad telling the kids that we ain't got no candy for you, and I turned my light off, and just people walking by, it was just going off like crazy, man. So, but had a great day. Yesterday. Can't complain.
Yeah, I was on the phone with my sister, and she couldn't find any candy where she's located, and she brought chips and all these good stuff. So we on the phone like every minute. Somebody's at the door. I'm like, why is everybody at your house? She's like, because I have the good snacks. I said, you have snacks instead of candy? So I was like, turn the light off so we can have a conversation. And she was like, oh, yeah. So I definitely understand.
No poison snacks, right?
No, I mean, she had like potato chips and cookies. Now, come on now. Don't do us.
Whatever. And then what about football?
It is trick or treat though.
For those of you morning, yesterday was football day. Great day having football. Some interesting stats yesterday, but we won't go into it right now because I know some people were happy. I ain't gonna call no names, but anyway,
we only have to talk about it. Everybody already know. They know. They already know.
But listen, if you're joining the show tonight, thank you for joining. Make sure to like it, share it out with somebody out tonight. We have a special guest in the building tonight. We have Mr. Rory Lawrence. He is I've known this guy for over 20 years now. And he's doing some big things here in the Tampa Bay area, in the acting arena. You know, I used to act back in the day. I don't know if you knew that, but I was an actor.
You see what I did? I was acting like I didn't know you used to act.
They tell me I look like Jamie Foxx, but I think I got one up over here. Jamie Foxx, they got that though, baby.
Who
that's good.
Acting like you look like Jamie Foxx.
Please understand. I'm glad. I don't need to look like Jamie Foxx. Please understand. I'm happy with how I look. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. But listen, we're gonna have our guest joining us in a few minutes here. We're just waiting for him to come. Like I said before, this is Let's Talk Real Talk today. We're talking with actor, director, playwright, CEO. He's going to be joining us just in a few minutes. We're waiting for our guest to join. So make sure go ahead and like it, shout. As a matter of fact, I think he might be here. Oh yeah, I hear the doorbell. Yes, he's in the building, y'all. He's in the building. Y'all, give it up for the one and only Mr. Director, CEO of Rory Lawrence Entertainment, the actor himself, the playwright, the CEO of the Tampa Bay Theater Festival. Y'all give it up for Mr. Rory Lawrence. What up, man?
You announcing me like I'm Rocky Balboa about to come in the building.
Listen, I'm just trying to give you your props, bro, because you bad to the bone, man. You bad to the bone. Listen, man, look like you've been hitting the gym a little bit.
Yeah, man. Bro, what else is there to do?
I know.
Either put on COVID weight or try to keep it off. So, and the gym is the best stress reliever, bro. Trust me.
Confession. I had a little bit of COVID weight. I'm working on it now, trying to get it all out. You know,
I did too, and I had to get rid of it.
Ooh, yeah, man. So we're working out. But listen, man, thank you for being a part of the show today. We're excited to have you. We're excited to have you.
Yes,
I know,
yes. Long time coming.
Yesterday probably may not have been a good day for you.
I knew you.
You know it was coming. You know it was coming.
This show is not about football.
I'm just saying though, but I just want to make sure put it out there because I know that you are a Tampa Bay Buccaneer all the way.
Tampa Bay?
Did they win? Did they win, Miranda?
I'm gonna go with no. Let me tell you what happened. Last night I'm chilling, taking my nap, getting ready for the real game, Dallas and the Vikings. And I get a call from Tom Brady. And he was like, Miranda, do you know anybody else that can join our team so we can keep winning?
Hey, you know what? Hey, with that being said, Dallas they only lost one game. Oh, who was that too? The Bucks.
To the refs that cheated us out of that game. I will go with that because clearly after last night, you see it. I mean, come on now. We beat the Vikings with our extreme quarterback.
I don't know why I got y'all started.
Anyway,
I know.
Anyways, so first of all, let's talk a little bit about you and let the people know a little bit about what you do. I know that you do acting, you do writing. How did you kind of get into that whole acting, writing? Like when did it all happen for you?
Well, actually, honestly, it was a time when you and I met. You know, we was at church, and we was doing a lot involved in the young adult ministry, helping out, whatever. And one day I was like, you know, this is cool, but you know, I'm no preacher. You know, this. And I literally said I'm going to start acting. And the next day I went. Out of the blue, and I found an acting school. Yeah, I found a venue acting studio in St. Pete. And I went out there, and my goal was, you know, we're going to train for a year, and I'm going to move to LA. And this was like 20 years ago or whatever. And my coach was like, hey, you've been training for like 8 months. You need to go audition for something. I'm like, no, I'm just focusing on the craft. She said, quit lying, go out and audition for something. So I auditioned for these small plays with little parts in them. Intentionally, because believe it or not, I guess I was a little bit nervous. I didn't trust my skills at the time.
Right.
And one of the first parts I got was a small part in A Raisin in the Sun. I played George Murchison. He was coming to pick up the daughter to take her out, whatever. He was, you know, a little snobby. Back in the day, Lou Gossett Jr. played the part way back in the day. And so it was small, and I did it, and I did a lot of acting back in high school. But from that point on, you know, I got with a couple of my acting buddies, and I was like, hey man, why don't we, you know, do some shows, some plays? And they were like, hey man, we're not into plays, you know. And I felt the same way. We're into films. And the reason why, because a lot of stuff that back then that they were auditioning for didn't fit. It wasn't a lot of roles for good roles and real theater for a lot of black men, black women, whatever, just little stuff that I wouldn't do. And so we decided to do a night of.
You didn't want to
no, from that in the dress. So we decided.
Not like anything's wrong with it. Just
hey, Tyler Perry's the billionaire wearing the dress. Hey.
Okay, I went. Let me be careful what I'm about to say. I could wear a dress.
Listen,
I could do that.
Mr. Perry, we good.
Hey, man. On that topic, you know how many what I would call alpha male actors who've worn dresses on TV? I mean, look at it. Wesley Snipes.
It's acting, man.
Swayze, Martin Lawrence, Robin Williams. It's acting, bro. A lot of people but I won't go down that road. Anyways.
Yeah, let's leave that.
Bogle's twin, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. What?
Ugly girl.
Yeah, man.
Now you kind of look like him.
I can do it real good.
We decided, and you can sing, and he can sing. So,
but you know, that was weird because all these years, man, I know you now. I know that most people didn't know that you used to rap and dance because that's where I originally met you. You remember? I'm gonna bring out all the skeletons tonight.
That's right. We used to be in the hip hop beat.
used to be in the hip hop group, and he used to rap and he used to dance.
Oh
And I remember meeting him.
Oh, you have to
years
drop
ago.
some bars, Rory.
Oh,
No, I was
You
never
need
good. That's why
bars.
I'm rapping now. I was never good at it. Yeah. So I
Oh, okay,
did
that
do it. I did
life
with
is over.
hip-hop. Huh? Oh yeah, that's over. That's over.
yeah,
Got
but
it.
that's how I
Got
met
it.
him. But
Yep.
after that, I didn't know that he was, kind of into the arts. So
Yeah.
you probably was doing all those stuff on the side, man. You didn't let none of us know.
No, man, I fell in love with theater in junior high. I saw a play. The first play I think I saw was of Mice and Men back in the day. And in the hood, brothers weren't watching plays. And so I kept that to myself, but I enjoyed it. And then I was watching, so I would catch a lot of different plays, a lot of classic stuff through that in high school, like Barefoot in the Park and stuff that, that was presented to me. I didn't know a lot about it at that time. But actually, Barefoot in the Park was the first play in high school that I was in. I played the role of a telephone man. My drama teacher was like, and I was nervous. She was like, I was a clown. I could be funny. She said, just be you. Just be you. And the biggest thing, the telephone guy had to go up these flights of stairs. And he was tired when he got there. And she says, get in there and act like you ran out of breath and say your lines. So I got in there and I did it. And I threw my own little flavor on it. And the students, went wild. When that response, I kind of like, yeah, I like this, And so that was my first real, I think when I really started loving hitting the stage. So, and then from there, like I was saying, I did, back to my point earlier, my acting buddies, we decided to do a night of skits and a one-act play. We did a play called The Trip, written by Crystal
I remember
Rhodes.
that.
I
think I saw that.
came.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
I saw that.
And it sold out, and we was like, oh, and so let's try to do this again. So a couple months later,
maybe onto something here.
Yeah, we did the trip again, and we did different skits, and it sold out again, and that's when I started my production company. And through then, that's when it's funny how God shows you your path. Like He knows the end from the beginning, and vice versa. So
yeah,
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know I would end up writing. I didn't know I would end up producing, directing, and what have you. But it worked out that way, and it just so happened that I became pretty decent at it, and people liked it. So, and here we are doing
it. And you were always good with people too, man. People will always support you.
Yeah, man.
And we know about Rory, the actor, the rapper, the dancer. But tell us a little bit about how you got into playwriting and the journey into playwriting.
Honestly, I'm telling you, it was a progress. The acting came, then the directing came, then the producing came, and lastly, the playwriting came. I came into playwriting because I felt I would go to a lot of plays, and I found myself saying, man, this is funny, but they should have did this. I would have said this. A lot of people think what they say is golden, but it's not always golden. But I was like, man, this is pretty cool. So I knew what would make me laugh. That doesn't mean it would make other people laugh. So I was like, let me try to write something that's funny to me. And I have worked, like Tampa is the mecca for call centers, and I've worked at several of them. So I said, you know what? Some of the funniest stuff happened in my life working at a call. I mean, some bad and funny stuff.
You're right.
It's true.
I experienced.
I worked at call centers too. Me too.
I worked at a call center. So I said, let me write this play. So I thought of all the crazy scenarios, the phone calls, the interaction that the actors had the employees had with each other. And I started writing it. And I called it Between Calls. And
I remember that. I remember that play too.
It was my first play that I wrote. And at the time I had a mentor, God bless her soul, Anna Brennan. And she was like, she read the play, she saw it, she's like, we need to meet. And so I was like, oh boy, because she always gave me the truth. And let me back up. She came out and she saw the play before because she didn't read it, because I didn't want her to read it because I knew she was going to rip it apart. So I said, no, just come check it out. And she came to the play, did a few days, sold out. And it was just crazy. She said, and every time I did a play, the next morning she'd take me to breakfast. She said, let's do breakfast. And she'd critique whatever. And then she sat down and she told me, she said, do you realize how hard it is to do comedy? And I was like, no. And she said, it's hard. She said, that's just it. It's come so natural for you to just do comedic stuff. And of course, she gave me, a lot of input to change in the play, which I did later. I fought it at first. And it was a funny play. Then I wrote another comedy. Then that's when I realized I had a niche to do, comedy. And people was like, I can't write comedy. How do you do it? I just write what comes in my crazy mind, bro. Well,
Because you crazy. Now you know you crazy anyway.
The funniest stuff is what people do in real life, man. You see something like, okay, that's something you can write about. That's something, and that's the key when you're writing. The audience loves stuff they can relate to. They're like, oh, snap, I know that. I know somebody like that and this and that. So, but I wrote, some dramatic, heavy stuff too, like Fighting God, which is a heavy play. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. When I wrote that, I had some people, because the reason I wrote it, I wrote a few plays, and I started having a couple of my friends in the faith-based community and church say, hey, when you going to write something that's, faith-based? And I said, I had to be honest. I said, I don't like church plays. That's
Christians always. That's some Christians.
I know. They said, well, they're like, you're a believer. I'm like, look, man, I am a believer, but it's corny, and people want to see. They want to see stuff like Tyler Perry stuff, which I like. But I said, I want to do something different. So, maybe a year later, idea came to me, and so the lady who was a playwright, she was a Christian playwright. I said, hey, I got an idea, for a Christian play. And she said, oh, what it's going to be about? I said, well, it's going to be about a woman. She's leaving church. She's going to get killed, running from her kids. A son going to become an atheist. And she's like, wait a minute.
We're not coming to, I said church play, not
and it was one of my best, strongest plays ever. You seen it? And so it was a play about redemption. It was being real. I touch issues. What I like to do is be honest. As a Christian, bro, the body a lot of time is not real. I mean, we deal with the same issues that everyone deals with. We deal with
that's why we named that show Let's Talk Real.
We deal with all this kind of stuff, bro. And people don't want, and Christians want to like tiptoe through the tulips and act like we don't go through afflictions, and we do. So I wrote about it. I wrote about the fake pastors. I wrote about the hypocrisy. I wrote about the good stuff. It was just a solid, real play. And people were able to accept it. It was a strong play. So,
love it, man.
And through that, man, I mean, through the writing came along just by, I didn't go to school for it. I didn't come up the ranks of, the upper echelon of writers. I just started writing. And the next thing I know, as you see on the wall, I won Best of the Bay playwright, Best of the Bay play, Best of the Bay, this and that. Critics' choice, not the voters. The critics' choice. That's the one that when the critics say, "Okay, this is good," not my friends voting for me.
Y'all listen, man. We don't take that stuff lightly. Y'all give it up for my boy with that, man, because that's awesome, bro. I love it.
You got the clap track going.
I got the clap. Listen, man. I love the claps, man. I keep on clapping, man. So listen, switch gears real quick. So Tampa Bay Theater Festival. How did you start the Tampa Bay? Because that's a big move. To start the Tampa Bay Theater Festival.
Listen, that was I love talking about it, man. Okay. So when I was in high school, I fell in love with drama my last 2 years, my junior and senior year, and I became a thespian. And so being a thespian, you would, travel and go compete and with other schools and do shows or whatever, which I love because in school I'm like, man, we get to go travel and stay overnight somewhere, which was pretty cool. So one day years ago, I was driving downtown. I was on my way to the gym, and I saw the streets filled with people. I'm like, what are all these people doing in the streets, backing up traffic? But I noticed it was a lot of teenagers. I'm like, what is it, a concert or what? And they were going to the Strad Center. They was hanging out, doing whatever. So I have a connect at the Strad Center. So I called them like, hey, what's going on? They said, this is the annual Theater Fest. Tampa hosts the biggest theater festival in the country annually. Just to throw that in there.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's the biggest one. Either. It's the biggest one in the country. So I was like, I said, okay, thanks. Then I thought about it. I said, man, that's for kids. I never heard of one for adults. So I started researching, doing my little homework. I'm like, what is a theater festival? So my team, my wife and I, we all got on there. And we started looking around, and we found festivals for adults. And one was in Atlanta, and one was in DC. It was somewhere another in North Carolina or whatever. So I started doing research because I still didn't know much about it. So we decided to say, hey, let's just go down and peep what they're doing, just fly down or whatever. But then I noticed that they were still accepting plays. What it is, a theater festival, they take submission for plays. And if your play is accepted, you go down there and can perform it against other playwrights or whatever. So Atlanta was like, they call this 40 plays in 4 days or something like that. So they say from their numbers, like they receive like 1,000 or more submissions to be selected. And I said, well, I had just finished writing Fighting God. I had never even performed it yet. And I said, well, I'm going to submit this play. So I submitted it. And I think within a couple of weeks, they gave me a call and said, hey, this is Rory. I said, yeah. They said, hey, your play has been selected as one of the 40 plays. Do you want to come? I was like, yeah. so we went down there, performed it. Play was great. And we got to see how it works. And then we went to, same thing happened with DC. I submitted the play to DC. It was accepted. They covered like the tri-county, tri-state area down in Maryland and all that stuff. And
okay.
Yeah, and so we was going all over, and they had different events. I said, okay, I want to do one of these in Tampa. This was months later. So we decided, we took what we liked and what we didn't like from these festivals and watching festivals online and created a weekend. So we decided to do a 3-day weekend of plays, parties, workshops, and what have you. So when we got down, I sat down with my team in the room. I'm looking at like 18 faces. I said, okay, guys. I said, do we want to do this? Everybody said, yes, let's do it. I said, okay, how many nights?
Okay.
Let's see. We've never done it. Let's do one, maybe a Saturday, the whole day. And then everybody was like, no, let's do the whole weekend. Let's do the whole weekend. I'm like, first of all, we don't have any money. And second of all, we've never done this. And it's never been done in Tampa. So we decided, okay, let's do 3 days. So we started planning, Friday would be opening night show, and then we'll have a party afterwards. And Saturday, first half of the day will be workshops, and then there will be plays, and then we'll have a short play competition Sunday morning. So we had it all mapped out. Bro, it was like 2 weeks before the play. I don't know if we had sold 10 tickets for the entire event. So me as the leader, you got to keep
we're on our way with 10 tickets.
You got to keep people encouraged. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at Kalila. I'm looking around.
Start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I gave my team. I said, hey guys, you know what? Even if we don't do well, we this is the first year, and we brought this to Tampa, and nobody's done it before. At least we're trying. I'll kind of make it whatever. But I'm going home mad and fussing and cussing because I'm like, man, we hustle because we did so much work, bro, that first year to make it happen. Because I called the Strass. I was like, hey, we want to do a festival, and we realized there's nothing for adults. Can we get help from you guys or whatever? They're like, well, what do you want? I said, well, we don't have any place to do the shows. And the Strass, bro, is amazing. And it was like, okay, we'll get back to you. I love them. They called me back. I think the next day they said, you can use our spot. We're not going to charge you. So they gave us, yes.
Free of
I said,
charge?
well, free of charge. But we only have to pay for like their labor, who work the shows or whatever.
Right,
bro.
Right.
You don't know how much money over 3 days, what that saves you. Like thousands, 10, 20.
Thousands of dollars.
Well, yeah, it saves you money. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, because we didn't have any money. And then other theaters came along too, which I don't have time to go on all of them. And so open in the morning, we're getting up. It's early. We got up like 5 o'clock. So we had to go down and set everything up. I get to one of the U-Haul trucks. It is broken down. It will not move. All our stuff is in there.
No.
I had never been so mad. I literally I looked up in the sky and said, God, why? I don't know what is going on. Why is this happening? I said, first of all, ain't nobody hardly coming. And we got the stuff here. I got to get this down to the theater. So I called my team, and everybody pulling up in their cars and trucks. We're unloading stuff, trying to get it down to wherever. And we got there sweating. We trying, and the women trying to look cute. That was gone. That was gone. All makeup sweated out. The door's about to open for the first event in about 40 minutes. And I got a room full of people. I said, I got to save face. I can't, be bombing. I'm the leader. I said, let's pray. I said, let's pray. We linked hands and we prayed.
Come on.
We prayed. I said, God, let it be a great event, whatever. Bro, the doors open. We could not contain the crowds that was coming in.
What?
We didn't, bro. Was for
prayer works.
Hey, every workshop that we were doing that morning was packed. The next thing I know, I got a guy coming in maybe a couple hours later with a camera. I'm like, they said, who's Rory? I'm like, that's me. And I was like, who are you? He was like, we're with the news channel, whatever. We heard something was going on here. Can we interview you? I'm like, yeah. So he interviewed me on the spot. People coming, plays selling out, bro. everything was going. I think everything that weekend almost sold out, including the and we have this nice ceremony on Sunday evening to announce the winners and all that stuff. You got to dress up, come out real nice. There's a nice meal at the Straz and Maestro's restaurant. Ballroom, whatever you call it. And those tickets, that's the most expensive event, which was not a lot of money. It sold out, and people was coming and knocking on the door. I'm like, we can't let you in because we ain't got no food for y'all. All the food is plated for the people who are here, and so it worked. In that first year, Tasha Smith came as a guest speaker, and then the next couple of years, I built a relationship with Harry Lennox from the Blacklist.
Yes,
Superman.
I saw that, which is one of my favorite shows, by the way. I love the Blacklist.
Bro, me and Harry had built amazing friendship. He came and he enjoyed it so much. We went out to dinner after we talked for 4 hours, and he was like, "Look, anything you need in the future,
tell him you need me on the Blacklist."
I know, right? I see you from the show.
You need another black guy. That probably be me.
He said, "Yeah, you want to be on there." He said, "Let me know." And then about a month later, he sent me an email. He said, "Hey, I'm working a workshop in Atlanta. Why don't you come down and hang out?" I said, "All right." So I went down there. And he led this workshop. We hung out, talked, and then he came back and did the festival again. And he wants to come back again. So and each year it just kept growing. We've been doing like how many years? How many years, Khalil?
Tekalila don't hide. I see.
She owed her. Yeah, she owed her. So,
but listen, man. Yeah, so, let me say this, because I know sometimes we don't tell people how much we really appreciate them, and I want to let you know that I appreciate you for everything you've done, for the strides you've made. Like I said, most people don't know you were the best man in my wedding. My gunshot wedding. My shotgun wedding. That's what my shotgun wedding. And
Shabbat didn't see his wife whole body until he got married. He just saw her head.
She would be leaning over. And that's all I saw.
Can I tell a story? Can I tell it?
Go ahead.
Real quick. Okay, me and Shivago was hanging out, and the girl that I was dating at the time, his wife now, was her roommate. And so they had this was a townhouse she lived in?
It was a townhouse.
Yeah, and so I would go over and pick up my girl, and Kathleen would be upstairs and just peep over, and she never would show her head. I'm not that she never come out. And then Shivago met her. I'm like, well, I don't know if you're ever going to see the rest of her, but that's her. And next thing you know, they kicked it off, and they ended up getting married.
It's crazy story. But listen, so to speak about Blast from the Past, man, I got a special guest that want to come in and say something to you, man. A blast from the past.
Oh boy!
So I want you to put your hands together and welcome my brother, Mr. Anwar Richardson.
Polk
County.
We're both from Polk County. What are you doing, man?
Polk County in the house, y'all.
Mr. Mulberry himself. This is Mr. Lakeland over here.
Oh,
Vago invited me to come on the show, and I will tell you, God's been good, because I get a lot of requests to do interviews for what I do now in life.
I know, I see you on TV all
he
the
big time, bro. He big time.
No, y'all are big time. I don't have time to do all of them. But when I saw Vago pop up, I was like, oh okay. Let me see what he got to say. And then he's like, Rory. I was like, ooh. All right, I got it. All right, so my Monday night, I got both of them. So, so I'm honored first and foremost. And you know what's interesting, Rory, Vago, and hello, Sister Miranda, to you. Thank you for having me on as well. I appreciate you. It's nice to talk to you as I sit here in Austin, Texas. For the audience who doesn't know me, I've known Rory and Vago for probably over 20 years now.
Yeah,
it's been a
we
long
always
time.
in it together. We're always
together. And so right now I'm a sports writer. I've done the NFL, I've done Detroit, I've done Tampa, Yahoo. I'm now here in Austin, Texas, and doing my thing here. And I was thinking about the subject at hand, Vago, and I've been thinking about it ever since that you reached out to me and asked me to be on the show, and we talked about Rory and everything that he's doing. And the thing that really kind of stood out to me, Vago, And Pastor, can I call you Vago, or do I have to call you Pastor?
Man, call me Vago, man. Call me Vago. We on.
You know, I remember
Bishop.
back in the day, Javen didn't want to be called Javen, and then one day he was Pastor Javen. You know, and I didn't know. I got all kind of confused.
Oh my God!
What do I call you now? Because you got mad when I call you Pastor. So anyway, shout out to Pastor Javen. But I started thinking a lot, Vago and Sister Miranda, in that scripture, that passage of Zechariah 4:10, when it starts talking about not despising the humble beginnings that we have, right? And I started thinking more about Vago and Rory's journey. And I'm going to start with Rory. And I remember when I first met Rory, and it was in a kiosk in Lakeland. I don't know if you remember it. I was with a former friend of mine, and you were working at the Lake. You were working at the Lakeland Square Mall. What were you doing? Like cell phones or something like that?
He's always working at cell phone companies.
Sprint.
He's
black. I should have known it was Sprint, right? It was either going to be Sprint or Metro or Cricket or something like that.
Metro is that's hood right there.
Okay. Sprint. Like, what is Sprint, right?
No,
I remember just meeting him. It was just like a casual meeting. We got a chance to connect, this and that. And then a few years later, I go to Without Walls, and he recognizes me. And I was visiting at the time, and he kind of reaches out, right? And so then he and I kind of connect. And this is before you got on the scene, Vago. And, you know, it's interesting, right? Because you see all the plaques on the wall behind him right now, and you see the success that he's had. But I remember going to Rory's apartment for the first time, and he had 2 roommates, and he literally did not have a bed to sleep on.
Sure didn't.
He was literally sleeping on the floor in his apartment when I first met him. So it's interesting, guys, because everyone talks about like the product, right? The product is everything that you see behind Rory at this moment. The product is Pastor Vago and what he's been able to accomplish at this moment. The product is Sister Miranda being able to sit here and be able to sit here on this live stream that we're doing on a Monday night. And then there's like that process that no one ever wants to talk about. And so the process that Rory had to go to and go through to get to where he is right now, many people won't know where he started from. You know, I remember seeing this brother, and I went into his room, and I was like, this dude ain't got no bed. It's like a sleeping bag or something.
I had a pillow.
That I can see you. I'm probably like, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. So I remember one day, and this is nothing about myself, but I remember one day I was like, all right, I gotta get this brother a bed or something like that. And I ain't well rich. I had no money like this, but I was like, I gotta. So I remember going one day, and then you guys remember Michelle, and I remember saying, so I was like, I gotta get this brother a bed. And so she was like, I'll help you. I'll put something down on it. I'm like, well, dang, you done seen with him. Why don't you just go get him a bed? But I was like, all right, that's fine. Go ahead and help out. Come on the backside. And I remember being able to let's just breast this brother with a bed to sleep in. But then the thing that Rory did was so magical. And Vago, you came in on this, is that he would hold prayer meetings at his apartment every single Monday night. And every single Monday night, it was about getting closer to the Lord. It didn't matter what you had been through throughout the entire week, what you were going through. Rory was saying, we're going to pray. We're going to get close to God. And Vago, you remember those. I mean, those were amazing moments.
We had some crazy times, bro. Good times.
We did. Really, but it was, again, we're talking, it's like this we're talking right here, we're at the product, right? You know, Rory's doing this, Vago's doing this, I'm over here. Like, everything's about the product, but we all were living in little apartments back then, just having hopes and dreams. And then I think about like where he's always was guiding us and leading us in prayer at times where the church that we were in didn't want that. Okay, I'll tell it all.
We started a movement.
Y'all got to be PC. I ain't got to be PC.
We started up. It was a movement. Right?
Yeah, it was. And people, there were times where people would chastise him and judge him for saying, you know, you're doing something outside of our realm. You should be doing it here. And all he was doing was saying, let's just pray. Let's just get closer to God. But because it can be controlled under the auspices of something else. So, but he still pressed on. He still persevered. He still said, no matter what, we're going to pray. We're going to get into Holy of Holies. We're going to have breakthroughs, and lives were changed. I 100% believe that a lot of our success that we have nowadays is because of those seeds that were sown way back when. And sometimes when you sow seeds, you don't get a harvest in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Sometimes it comes a little bit later. And that's a lot of things that like Rory was able to do with us, where Rory was able to kind of instill in us as we were young people. We're older now. Rory's got grays, right? Yeah, every time I see a picture of Rory, I'm like, ooh, you starting to get there. But he work out too much. I don't really like looking at his pictures, though.
I know, but he's bigger than all of us. Why would he get bigger than us?
I'm
that old man strength.
Showing his sexy abs and everything.
He got that old man, just that old man, like buff nook. I don't like it. But, so like Rory and Rory's success, and then let me go to Pastor Vago for a second as well,
Lord.
because.
But Rory, man, don't do this to me.
No. I'm gonna touch on everybody. Y'all made the mistake of letting me on, so
I see.
Y'all gonna let me on. I'm gonna talk, and then y'all can just edit whatever out. I know we live and stuff like that. But I remember Vago coming on the scene, and I didn't know what to think of him because he was from Bahamas. He wasn't from Jamaica, so I was like, what kind of island accent you got? We talking about Bahamas, like we ain't Jamaican, but what we supposed to think about you? but we was like, we'll learn a little bit more about this Bohemian thing, And I remember like with Vago, one of the things I always thought about Vago was he was sincere. At all points, his heart was always, always, always pure. He is as loving today as he was yesterday / 5 years ago / 10 years ago. And he had a sincere heart, and Vago would do anything for you, the same way Rory would be there for you. And I remember, Vago, you're going to go back to this, but I remember that the Waters Avenue, and everyone knows anything about Waters Avenue. There's that train that comes through sometimes after 9 o'clock at night. And I don't even know why we was in the car on this particular night. And we were just sat. We knew we had to sit there. Yeah. It was in Vago's car. We had to sit there. We sat there for about 15, 20 minutes or so. And we started talking about our dreams and visions and goals for the future, right? And so one of the things I had talked about as a writer, I said, I want to write a book. That's one of the things that I really want to be able to do at some point in this. And Vago's like, I want to record. I want to be a musician. I want to do CDs. Again, we're young. We're in our younger 20s. Like we're just all full of hopes and dreams and things to that effect. And so things happened to me in life that, I was depressed. I was suicidal. And when I was able to come out of that, I wrote a book, about that. And then Vago saw that, and he was like, well, dang, he wrote the book. He's like, well, now I need to do my thing. And so then that ended up being Vago's inspiration. And this still all ties back to Rory, right? But that ended up being Vago's inspiration for him to come out with his CD, Mr. Testify himself, because I wanna. Tell people them, right? And so he ends up doing his thing. And so it's amazing. I'm really so. Even both of you, I know this is a Rory show, but I just want to say both of you, I'm so proud of where you guys are, at this point, because, everyone knows the finished product of you guys, right? Vago, you get on stage on Sundays, midweek, you do the show, and everyone sees the product, right? They don't know you lived in an apartment. They don't see this beautiful house behind you, right? Before you had your beautiful wife and beautiful children, I know the Vago that was single. Rory, I know all the people that you talked about that were in your dating life. I know who those people were before you met the beautiful Kalila, who ended up being your better half and one of the best decisions that she ever made. Because she probably had a lot of decisions, and she could have gone in many different directions. And she was like, you know what, God, I'm just gonna sow a seed into this poor little boy right here.
Why'd you bring him on here?
So he gonna
tell the truth.
But it is. But Rory, back to you. I'm really, really when I think about your journey,
Yeah, man.
from where you started, from Mulberry, Florida, to working in a kiosk in Lakeland, to doing customer service, right? To your walk with God and your consistency all throughout these years. I mean, you've seen there's been a lot of folks who ain't been consistent with their walk, and there's a
Hey.
lot of people who started off, hey, for real, hey, for me. Right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, but you've always, no matter what, you've been consistent in the things that you talk, the love that you shared. And, I've been really, really proud of you, your journey, all the things that you've been able to do, all the things that you're able to accomplish from when you started this thing to trying to go to different states to do your plays, to finally finding your home and getting kind of in your niche, Vago, finding your home and kind of getting into what your niche is. To be honest with you, I'm proud of both of y'all. To be quite honest with you, I'm proud of both of y'all for what y'all have accomplished, for where y'all have come through. Like I said, I see you both of y'all through a different lens, but I know that you guys put in the work. I know that you guys sowed all the seeds to get to where you are. And I know that you guys are more than qualified to speak into people, whether it's people in your congregation, whether Rory, it's people in your industry, whether it's people who want to be in your industry, or whether it's people who want to strive for success. You guys are more than qualified because of everything that you guys did from the beginning. Your consistency, your hard work, your effort, your love, your drive, your passion, all of that has made you guys into the success you are. So, Rory, I give you your roses. But Vago, I would like to give you your roses as well, because I'm proud of both of you brothers for what you guys have been able to do, achieve, succeed. And both of the men that you are, the husbands that you are, the father that you are, the loving people that you are. I'm just proud of all that you guys are, just the men that you are as people and the people that you are, more than anything else.
Man, appreciate you, man. I had to give it up for my boy, man. I had to give it up for my boy. And man, thank you so much for being a part of this. I know that with this he done switched it all up on us. Boy, I tell you. But man, we go way.
You should have known that you had me on. It's gonna be a hurricane.
I know.
I don't see how he did not know that.
There's a hurricane coming, and you want me to come on your show? You gotta know I'm gonna be who I am. And I'm proud of you. Man. And Sister Miranda, I haven't met you, but I know enough to know that if you're associated with Vago, I know you're associated with a good thing. And I know that you are therefore a woman of character. I know that you walk in a way that I know if Vago is co-signing on you, that's all I ever need to know about who you are. So, I don't know your journey, but I know that you have to be an amazing woman to be someone that, Vago is linking up with. So that says a lot about you as a person. That's all I need to know about you. And you continue to do everything that you do. Again, I don't have a lot of roses to give you because I don't know your story, but allow me to give you one and tell you that keep doing the good things, sister.
I appreciate it.
Come
Thank
on,
you.
More. Give it up for my girl. I'm going crazy with these claps tonight. I'm going crazy with it, man. But no, man, appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining. Rory, what you want to say to my brother before he leave, man? Go ahead.
Hey, no, it's real talk. Man, it's good. This was a pleasant surprise, man. And we've all went through some stuff together, man. It's just a blessing to see what you're doing. Because I remember when you were walking around talking about writing. I remember you was just doing a little thing when you got to writing for Yahoo, whatever, and And now, next thing I know, I look up on TV.
He's working at the newspaper.
Yeah, working at the newspaper.
I was doing high school sports.
sports. Yeah. Then next thing I know,
Jefferson, Lato. Ain't nobody wanted me.
Yeah, ain't nobody wanted me. Now that I see him with all these high-profile college coaches and on TV and the NFL or something, like, man, that's good, bro. I love you, man. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you. All right, I'll let you guys get back to your show. Thanks for having me on. Vago, it's good to see you.
Likewise,
man. My brother.
Hey, listen. One last thing before you leave. You remember after every prayer meeting, what did we eat? Some Stouffer's.
Okay, here you go.
And what? Some Stouffer's lasagna and some bread, some garlic breadsticks.
Yeah.
Rory's had that. Oh, that's why I can look the way I can see because he gonna working out now, and then now he left us with the Stouffer's and everything. But it's all right.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, so Rory got with a woman who was a doctor who was like, you ain't eating that junk no more. So she's got him on a healthy diet, and now all of a sudden he out there working out, looking good and stuff. I got a little dad bod. I'm 180 pounds with a belly. Like, how that work? How am I 180 with a belly? What is
He
this?
right here trying to bring sexy back. What's wrong with you, man?
I'm in Texas eating brisket, eating
Hey,
breakfast
I
tacos.
told you, it's the best thing for stress, man. You get in there, put your headphones on, and just do what you do.
I would lift weights, but they're so heavy.
And I want, man, love
heavier
you,
the more
dude.
you lift them.
Thank you so much.
Keep
love
doing
you,
what
brother.
you do, brother.
Love
I
you for
can't
life.
wait.
All right, man.
Again,
Good to see you, man.
Wait to support, and you know, if you need support in any way, brother, you know you got me.
All right, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, y'all
man.
take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. There you go, man. There you have it.
Aw.
It was nice.
I
That
know,
was nice.
man.
That's
You know,
beautiful.
he was all
Beautiful.
out there. That was good, though. That was good. I'm glad that he was showing up, man. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, Miranda. So back to this, so we can wrap it up real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah. So before we go, I mean, that was beautiful, right? Because he's right. People always see the product, but they never see the process.
They have no
And
idea.
so that's it. And so
They
it's
have no idea.
so important that people know that there's a process attached to the product.
Yeah, I gotta say this. We've been doing the place for almost 10 years, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a good team, man. And we have different access for different shows. Brother, we didn't see maybe make a dime until after almost 6 years. My prayer was, after I learned how the game works, I'm like, God, just don't let me owe anybody no money. let us sell enough tickets so we can pay for this venue. And, you know, most of the time the actors they were working for free. We get in there. We're not like a touring company. So we had to put our setup and take it down the same day, strike it, put it in the storage, take the U-Haul back. And this is like 2:00 in the morning. We all are sitting in Waffle House. Sitting in Waffle House talking about the great time that we had. And that's how it went for us for years, bro. It went for us for years. And, you know, and that's why I appreciate a lot my actors, man, because when they weren't getting paid for it, it was just like, we love what we're doing. So yeah.
God always brings the right people to you, man. The right people who are committed to the vision and the dream that you're doing, for sure. So before we head out, there's a little game that we like to do. Mm-hmm. So you ready to play a little game with us, Rory? Miranda, go ahead and tell him go ahead and introduce the game to him.
So Rory, this game is called On the Clock. On the clock.
Are you ready?
And you're gonna have about 5 seconds to answer each question, okay?
Okay.
Got it? Here we go. So, what's your favorite Broadway play?
Probably Raising the Sun.
Raising in the Sun. Easy. All right. Here's a hard one. Jennifer Lopez or Halle Berry?
I know why I said this. Go ahead. I know it. That's what I told you. I told you.
You're just gonna choose that one.
It's the physical aesthetics.
His brother was anyway. We're gonna leave it because I know Kalila right there. I ain't trying to get him in no trouble.
Puerto Rican people, they're nothing but light-skinned black people. That's all that.
He loves
Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block. Okay, here we go. Here's a hard one. I heard you were a rapper. So DMX or Ja Rule?
Oh, DMX. DMX, my all-time favorite rapper ever. Him.
Okay.
Ja Rule? Are you kidding me?
Ja, we love you. Ja, we love you.
What I be without you? No.
DMX, God rest his soul.
Yeah, he was a great rapper. Okay, Blue Mustang or Red Charger?
Blue Mustang. That's all I've ever owned since I got out of high school. Every car I've had been a Mustang.
Wow, you still have a Mustang?
I have a black Mustang now.
Wow.
This one's about to be out the door, so I'll probably get another one.
He loves Mustang. I first met him, he was riding a blue Mustang.
A blue one, then I had a black one, then I had a different one, then I have a black one again. Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the last one, do you prefer dancing or rapping?
Dancing. Even though I'll do
really?
Yeah, man, I wasn't much of a rapper, man. I just did a little bit if I had to, but most of the time it was dancing, bro. I was dancing, bro. Back in the day, that's how I paid me and my roommates. I had like 4 of us. We would go around to nightclubs and some of them would have like dance contests and we win the money. And that's how we paid our rent. We was broke. That's all we did, man.
Who knew?
Bro, There's so much, man. So much.
Okay, this is the last one. Now, answer this one truthfully. You won't get in trouble. Your favorite food?
Oh man, that's hard. Because I love Italian food, but I love
Go for it.
barbecue. I
Go
would,
for it. Go for it.
I would have to say probably lasagna.
Really?
I mean,
I
but
would
the
have
thing
never
is,
figured.
I don't eat that stuff much more, but
Oh, okay. Clean it up.
yeah,
That's okay.
Yeah,
but
'cause
I love
you
Italian
bring
food.
in
I love
something like
spaghetti, lasagna, all that kind of stuff, man.
Awesome. Well, listen, Rory, I know that you and Vago go way, way back. So before we jump off, are there any good stories? I know Vago, he's been
Oh
singing, he's
boy.
been acting, he was a rapper. Any good stories? I was just playing, y'all. He wasn't a rapper. Any good stories
I
that
actually
you
was.
want the
That's where
audience to know?
I was a rapper
No,
back.
I think I already shared the story that I thought was hilarious. That was when how he met his wife. But the thing of it is, I can't remember why you were over there with me. Did you ask about her?
No, yeah. So remember, we used to after church we always to hang out, right?
Yeah,
And then we went by Lisa's house, and of course, what was she like? Cereal,
yeah.
right? And she went by the fridge. I mean, it'll be late at night. She'd be eating a bowl of cereal, right? And I remember I saw the picture on the fridge, and I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
right.
I said,
That's
"Who
right.
that?" And she's like, "Oh, you don't want to talk to her. She ain't interested in nobody." And Rory's like, "Yeah, the only thing I see is her head, bro. Don't even worry about
Never
it."
came out. She never came out.
He said, "I see this much of her right there. That's
She'd
it."
come
I
down.
don't
She
see the-
was so nice. She'd be like, "Hey, Roy," and be gone.
Oh, she didn't
I'm
hang
like,
up with nobody. She didn't hang up with none
I
of
know.
us.
I asked her, I said, "Lisa, does your roommate have a body?" Go with that head. Don't ever see nothing. And that, I'm telling you, it's the truth. She'd be either studying or chilling. So
Yeah, she was because she was in school at the time. She was working on a master's, and
yeah,
that's how it happened. I saw it, and then you remember she used to come to church. She would sneak in and sneak out.
yeah, sneak out. She didn't hang
She
out
would
with
sneak.
nobody.
Yeah, so I caught her one day.
Probably
I
smart.
caught her on
Hindsight
the
looking back.
sneak out. Yeah, that was probably
That
smart because Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. We love you, Kathleen. But
Mhm.
before we go, I know that you have a play coming up, and I
Yeah.
think it's so exciting. I know COVID has impacted everything for the last 2 years. We're kind of stepping back into a sense of normalcy. Tell us a little bit about this play because we want the people to support, to come out. This is
Yes.
going to be a great time. So
Yeah.
share with us before we jump off about the play.
Yeah, I honestly, man, especially today, a couple things confirmed. I think this is going to be a pinnacle play for not only for what we're trying to do, but for me as a person. Because, and trust me, it's trying my favor. Well, people don't understand, man, with the COVID, when COVID came, it wiped out everything. So when people who are doing this full time, they were jobless. I mean, we were supposed to do this show almost 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, all this money that we don't put into this thing. I'm calling the Straz. And my contact there, Jenny Piazza, I love her. She's the bomb. She said, Roy, it doesn't look good. She said, we're literally right now trying to find flights for I forgot what show was about to open. The Broadway show was about to open either that night or the next night. She said, we're finding flights to get these actors back to New York before everything gets shut down. I don't know what play it was, but it was canceled. But people understand, man, in Broadway, Broadway employs, if you include actors and everyone, 90,000 people. And in one swoop, they're all unemployed, pretty much all of them.
Wow.
And Broadway brings, I think, almost $15 billion to New York economy every year. Shut down. Imagine that, just like that. So when we got shut down, I was like, what am I going to do? And at the time, I was unemployed and hoping to do well with this play because I got laid off because my job for COVID, they laid people off. It was a mess. But anyways, so now we're doing this Saturday, November 20th, which is 3 weeks away, which, man, just saying that makes me...
Saturday, November 20th. Y'all get those tickets.
And it's one night only, and I'm happy because I'm like, I'm not going to be scared because I was talking to some of my counterparts, and they was like, this is what I'm up against with the COVID stuff going on, this and that. They was like, hey, it's going to be like, and I got my team, and I prayed about it, and I said, I believe we can sell it. We can do it. And when I went to the website, like the bottom floor is almost, the good seats they're pretty much gone. Not almost, but so
Awesome.
the tickets are moving, so we're not nervous. We got a lot of promotion going out between that. So either way, if it's 50 or 1,200, we're gonna put a show on like never before. And it's hilarious. So
And what's the title of the play? And give us a little snippet,
Well,
just a little snippet.
The title of the play is I Think She's the One. Basically, like once again, I took scenarios from my life and other people's lives, and trying to date and find the right person. And basically, the character that I play is Andre. And so Andre, he's a successful bachelor, and he's gotten to the place where he's tired of playing around. He wants to meet the right woman, and his house catches on fire. So he has to move in with his conservative Bible thumping grandmother until it's fixed. And so he's thinking he can bring all these girls over like he was doing and live his life. And she's like, "No, bro, you're not gonna do this." So then we have all these crazy scenarios, different dating situations, and real life nuggets in there. Also, it's just they always got to put a little message in there. And it's totally it's hilarious, man. I think I know for a fact. And my co-actors are the comic read David Best. He is a beast. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be.
I know show. David. Yeah, David.
Yeah. I'm on when we're in rehearsal. I have to fight not laughing when I'm in scene with him. And
wow,
the character because he knows what he be doing to me and watching doing certain stuff. I'm like. I'm like, man, I said, you weren't supposed to do that. I said, but you know what? Do it on stage. It's gonna work. So we're having fun with him. So.
That's good, man.
Awesome.
And listen, so make sure support. And if you can't go, buy a ticket for somebody else, right?
Absolutely.
Support what he's doing. He's doing some great things here in the Tampa Bay area. And you may not be local. You may say, hey, listen, I still want to support him some way, somehow. You can still go on and get the tickets. Where can they get the tickets from? The Strass?
Yeah, go to strasscenter.org. Yeah. And the same thing, like we always want what we do, man. I've done this even when we couldn't, and I still will, and we have already. Ever since we've started, bro. You never know what a person is going through, especially single moms, financially, whatever. I don't care what my bottom line is or what I need to make. I always give away free tickets. I always give, and I'm like, hey, let me just bless you with some tickets, whatever. Every single show that I've ever done, I make it a point to do that because some people, like even some people I know who've come to all my plays. I say, hey, I got a new show coming next week. And they're like, I really want to come, but I lost my job. So I'm like, you know what? You supported me in the past. Bring your family, come for free. So it's because I love that.
So there's no excuse.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna give away all my tickets, but
you gotta get the bottom line.
Like, I just saw you buy a $500 purse. I'm not giving you no ticket.
Right.
That part.
So make sure y'all support him. This
Absolutely.
is my brother. We will be there. Make sure support him. Purchase those tickets, support the show. It's going to be really awesome. And listen, I want to thank you, everybody, for joining in, for being a part of the show. I want to thank our one and only Mr. Rory Lawrence and your beautiful wife, by the way, who's been working on the back end of things, trying to keep everything a surprise. I told her I was going to bring, I was trying to get some guests together, and I told her I was going to bring Anwar, and she's like, oh, that'd be great. So thank you.
Oh, that's all sneaking around, sneaky.
Yeah. That's what we do. So thank you, man, for being a part of the show. And we wish you much success in the show. Definitely.
Yeah, excited.
Thank everybody
I see y'all November 20th, man.
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
good.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining and being a part of the show. Make sure catch us on the next one. We don't know exactly where it's going to be, but I tell you what, it's going to be coming up soon. So make sure be a part of that as well. So thanks so much, and we'll see you guys later for the next Let's Talk. On behalf of your boy Vago and Miranda, we'll see you on the next Let's Talk or Real Talk. Peace.
See ya.